So, this afternoon's going to focus on riding. So where are the horses? Exactly. How many of us see riding, but you can't see the horses when they're being ridden? But if we are serious about rebuilding equitation from the ground up as it could and should have been, we should be going back to riding for the horses for whom that is appropriate for. So, I say that the way I'm working uses science, empathy, and feel. And at this point, a lot of people go, okay, you're talking to a marketing person. No, it really is what I'm trying to do here. So, in light of that, we're going to have a little bit of scientific experiments together as we begin this afternoon, so that we can have an empathic understanding of how the horse feels when you ask them to carry us. But anyone who would like to come in from you guys, this is your chance. Find a partner, grab a buddy. Does anyone remember when they were kids and you played horses? Yeah. Okay. Assume the position. Oh yeah.
Well, sure.
We're gonna call this an icebreaker. But it might make you laugh and it might make you cry. Ooh, way to suck the air out of the room. Still got it. Still got it. Okay, so horses, I want you to feel on all fours where your weight is. You have 4 limbs in contact with the earth. And logically, if we divided 100% by 4, we have 25 on each. But we know, if you know, that horses are naturally heavy in the front. So add 70% in the front, if you can. Now, everyone locate your collarbone, wherever that is, across here. Feel, with your 70% on the front, how the collarbone is bracing you and stopping your nose from going smack into the dirt. Horses don't have that. They ain't got a collarbone. So unlike us, they have no bony attachments from their front limb to the rest of their body. Their front limb is free floating to their torso. Anyone uncomfortable 70% in the front yet? Wouldn't it feel easier to start shifting around? So imagine you don't have a collarbone. Now imagine you're not the weight you are, but you're 5 times the weight you are now. So the earth is exerting 5 times as much gravitational force on you. And this is where I need the riders. Riders, please place your hand in between their shoulder blades. Just enough to simulate a little bit more gravity. Not a rider, just gravity. I promise no one's going to sit on each other today. You don't have a liability. My insurance won't cover you. I promise we're not going that far. I just felt everyone go, holy shit, where is it going? Just enough to simulate weight. Now walk forwards. Okay, good. Point made. Now, a few of you have had some bad experiences. Through no fault of your own, you've landed in a place where you're not safe and you're not understood, physically, mentally, or emotionally. 4-dimensional misunderstanding. And so someone believed that they were allowed to sit on you, and then through threats, And force make you locomote forwards. So please assume the position again. Riders, take two hands either side of the spine adjacent to the shoulder blades and press. Please check in with your partner. If anyone's uncomfortable, use your safe word. The safe word is called consent. Now, horses, I want you, do you remember earlier this morning when I said, like, stick your throat out? Stick your throat out. Follow your spine underneath those hands. More. Now trot.
Oh my God. Sure, like a raven.
Did you notice that all of you trotted? All of you trotted, or at least tried. Were you comfortable? No. Did you understand why? No. You trusted my authority enough to do it. And you all have prefrontal cortexes and are clever enough to tell me to fuck off. But you did it anyway. Now, you're all social creatures, so as a social monkey, we're hardwired to want to get along with how the river's flowing downstream. Take that feeling, times it by 10. You're now in the equine world, hardwired socially to go and flow. So, even with this much social connection to their people, when they need this much, if that person says, do it, they'll give it a shot. Now imagine having that happen to you for 1 hour. And then imagine doing that 3 days a week, then 5 days a week, and then 6 days a week. And then they get things and they tie your head down, and they hit you with sticks, and they leverage with spurs. 6 days a week. For 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. At what point do those horses want to kill us? And this is my work now. It's cleaning up that mess. Swap. Introduce yourself. Boo. I know, suddenly you're all like, nervous at the first date.
Very shy.
Now imagine you've got no collarbone, but let's imagine how we can make this position more comfortable for you. Instead of extending your throat and dropping into your shoulder blades, I want you to extend in this region and imagine that from the crown of your head to the middle of your back, you are an opening umbrella. Open umbrella. Beautiful. Now shift your weight to your hindquarters and gently tuck your pelvis underneath you. And feel the lightness in your hands. Now riders, add some weight. And as the weight is added, I want you to use that posture, that logic, to resist the weight of the rider. Is that more comfortable for you? In fact, it's almost easy. It's almost easy. So long as you don't have a pre-existing diagnosis. Yes? Can you see how that requires you to feel like you own it and you feel like you're willing to be there? Because if you weren't willing to be there and they asked you, forced you into this posture, would it be the same thing? You cannot give the mechanical semblance of consent. You have to feel it. Okay, now riders, add the weight. Horses, resist the weight. And now try to locomote forwards as carefully and athletic. Easier, right? Easier. Beautiful. Love. Love. Someone's already got her trot transition. Who goes, Sarah? She's an endurance horse. Yeah. Wow. Keep it dirty. Lovely. Beautiful. All right. Coming back. Coming back. Beautiful. And now riders, I would like you to guide instruct, show, and facilitate your horse into that posture you had just felt. Now that you know how it's comfortable to carry, show your horse how it can be done so that it's good for them. Gently. Do I need to get a carrot stick for anybody? Not necessary, right? A friendly guiding touch would suffice, would it not? Yes. Beautiful. Lovely. Now, remember this morning when I was touching horses at the base of the neck? And they were changing? This is what I was doing. Yeah? Now, whenever you're ready, ask the horse to try carrying that forwards as much as they can, if it's safe to do so. Beautiful.
My back legs first as a hip workout.
Lovely. Okay. Beautiful. You see, I could have just made noise all day about what I'm looking for in the riders and in the horses, or I could have you feel it. Because if you feel it, you'll never forget it. If you know what it's like to be them, it changes how you train and develop them forever. Now, those who were horses, could you feel as you locomote forwards how much freedom is required in the body on behalf of your rider to not be in your way so that you can fit? Spread out. We're going to do this again. I want you to do it this time, same process, with the understanding of how important it is to A, be guided and supported by your rider, but also be given freedoms to make your own choices about your body as you go in real time. And maybe, riders, if you're good enough, you'll be able to feel, recognize, acknowledge where your horse might be less free. And you can signal to those parts of the body and ask them, hey, be free there. And it might be easier for you. Give it a go. That's beautiful over there. That's glorious.
We're being told we're glorious. I want to walk into someone. Hey.
So,
You've been doing this for
just to gauge in the room, hand up whoever has felt guilty about riding. Whoever has felt afraid. Okay, now if you need to close your eyes so that it's a room of honesty and total anonymity. Whoever sat on a horse and felt really angry about what the horse didn't give them. Yeah, right there. We'll call that human entitlement. Let us all reach inside our soul, find that human entitlement, pull it out, throw it on that muck heap over there. Okay? Now that that's done, I feel a lot better now. Yeah. Consider that riding can be beautiful. Hands up who believes that that's true. Yeah, it can be beautiful. And as an exercise in relational horsemanship, relationship-first horsemanship, this learning couldn't have been accomplished on your own, right? You needed that partner there. If I'd had you doing this exercise in empathy on your own, it would have been dead in the water, many of the learnings. That by doing it together, it turbocharged your body, your awareness, your connectivity to others. So if we are interested in horsemanship that puts the relationship first, what's better than that than riding? If it's appropriate. And so, for me, there's one prerequisite must-have in posture for a horse that is ridden, and that is the umbrella. Everything else is kind of up for negotiation. Even compensation patterns in the hindquarters and the poll and the head and the neck and the lower limb, all of that's up for negotiation. But one essential prerequisite, if we are to ride, is that the horse resists the weight, formerly known as lightness in the forehand. But let's understand what this really means, because that terminology has now had a lot of human bias downloaded into it, if you're familiar with that term. Resist the weight. It is the only part in a horse's education where we teach them something that is completely contradictory to everything else we teach them. Because with pressure and touch, every time we use it, we ask the horse to yield to it and not go into it, except to the pressure on their back. It's the only time we ask them to go away. And this is why it's so hard for horses, because we teach them to yield to pressure. So we put a saddle and a rider on, they go, okay. It behooves us, pun intended, to really focus on that as the first step. Shore up the spine first. The rest will be later. Through this exercise, you have a point of reference now in your body for what it feels like, what we're looking for, and develop a nose like a bloodhound for the antithesis of that, wherever it might exist, and go, oh, there's that thing again. This one. Thank you so much for humoring me. I hope that was helpful. We're now going to bring the horses in and take this to the horses, now that you feel and understand yourself. Okay? Thank you so much.